back to Whole Foodie Challenge, where I cook, eat, review all plant-based foods and have a lot of fun while I do it. I'm based here in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Today I will be sharing with you 3 foolproof recipes for cooking tofu. Even the skeptics will love it. Did you know that tofu is a complete protein? Which is amazing for someone following a plant-based diet, because protein is something that we need in our systems, and primarily meat eaters get it from chicken, fish, red meats, those sorts of things. On a plant-based diet, you have to be a little bit more creative. However, I think a common myth is that you can't get enough protein on a plant-based diet. I believe that's incorrect, and others will back me up on this one. Tofu has gotten a bad rap. There were some animal studies that showed that, some earlier animal studies that showed that tofu, which contains phytoestrogens, can be cancer causing or not great for people with cancer because it boosts estrogen. However, there have been studies afterwards showing that that's not in fact true, and some people actually use tofu during times of menopause or things to kind of balance their hormone levels. However, I am no expert by any means. I'm not a registered dietitian or doctor. So if you are making changes to your diet, you want to incorporate more tofu, I would suggest talking with a healthcare professional, doing your own research to see if it's right for you. I find great benefits eating tofu. I really love it. Apart from protein, it's also high in magnesium, calcium, manganese, fiber. It's so good for you. Another thing that I've heard from friends or just people when I say I'm plant-based or eat primarily plant-based, they go, "Oh, but Hannah, like tofu, it's just, I can't get on board with tofu." Well, today I'm going to show you 3 recipes that are going to change your mind about tofu. I have these in my rotation quite often, and I love them. I think they're full of flavor. I think that's the benefit of tofu that people don't really realize is, yeah, on its own, it can be a little bit bland or spongy. But when you combine it with different flavors, it soaks it up like a sponge, like a mushroom almost. There's many different types of tofu, but today I wanted to show a recipe with each of the 3 firmnesses. So like a mattress, there's different firmnesses of tofu. Basically, it's just how much water content is in it. So tofu is made with curdled soybeans. That they add nigiri, which is a calcium, it's magnesium chloride, that's what nigiri is. And they add it to kind of coagulate or harden the soybean, and basically like a soy milk. So you make a soy milk and then you add this coagulant to it, similar to making cheese. So the more water you add, the softer the tofu, and you can press it after to remove a lot of the moisture. I don't have a tofu press, but I've heard great things, so I think I might need to invest in one soon. But another way is just putting like a bunch of books or heavy things on top of tofu wrapped in paper towel, and it just kind of releases most of the moisture. So if you want, and you can buy tofu that's pressed already too. This is the extra firm tofu, and this is a brand called Green Cuisine, which is local to Victoria, BC. If you do live in Victoria, I highly recommend it. It's a local brand. It's amazing. Then we've got a medium soft tofu. I'm trying to be local here. This is another semi-local brand. This is from Salt Spring Island, Soya Novo Tofu Shop. Another really, really great tofu. This one's a little bit softer. I find it works really well for pan frying or deep frying, because then you get that like crispy exterior and the soft interior. Am I right? So good. Then there's the soft tofu. This is a Sunrise brand, which is a product of Canada. Oh, it's from Vancouver as well. So look at me, I'm keeping it British Columbian over here. So this is a soft tofu. There's quite a bit of water in it. You can buy, this brand I know specifically has like mango, banana, different dessert flavors. It's kind of almost like a pudding. With the soft one, we're gonna do something sweet today with it. We're gonna make peanut butter cups. They're so good. I haven't made them in a while. It's by Oshiglows and I'm just obsessed. The medium tofu, we're gonna do a 3-ingredient baked tofu cubes. And it's a really easy, simple recipe. It takes like 20 minutes to make and you will love it. With the firm tofu, we are going to be making a bacon crumble. So you can crumble this on different things. It's so tasty. And for people that are trying to maybe cut down on their meat but love bacon or love that flavor, this is a really good intro to tofu for you. There's so many other recipes that I can include in the notes. Like another one I love is a feta cheese, where you blend it with some melted coconut oil and let it harden in the fridge, and then it like crumbles like a feta cheese. It's amazing. So let's get cooking, let's get started and make these amazing recipes. So first things first, you want to get out a baking sheet and line it with parchment paper. And then you want to get your block of tofu. And this is a firm block, but it hasn't been pressed yet. So I take this is a reusable paper towel, or you can just use a regular paper towel and squeeze out all the extra moisture. You don't have to be too thorough with this. And then once you've done that, you're just going to take your block of tofu and cut it into cubes. I have cut probably about 1-inch cubes here, but really any size, it doesn't matter. The smaller the cube, the crispier the tofu. Once you're done dicing the tofu, you're going to get a large mixing bowl, and in the mixing bowl with a plastic spatula, you're going to add a tablespoon of olive oil, a tablespoon of tamari, and then use your spatula to kind of mix it together. And then you're going to add a generous tablespoon, in fact I probably used 2, of nutritional yeast, and this will just coat the tofu. Then you're going to put your tofu on the parchment lined paper and spread evenly to put in the oven at 425 for 20 to 25 minutes. After about 10 minutes in the oven, just take them out and give them a good flip. Make sure they're nice and crispy. Okay, this smells so good. I wanted to try one for you. I don't know if you can hear that, the crispiness. It's perfect. It's very subtle flavor. It goes really well if you have like a dip or a sauce or something to put on it too, but it's a nice mild flavor to eat on its own. I also like that it's crunchy on the outside but soft on the inside. Ooh, look at that steam. I outdid myself. Next up, we're going to make the bacon crumbles. This is from the Hot for Food cookbook. It is one of my favorite cookbooks. And this is a marinade that you can use on a bunch of different things like mushroom, cassava, coconut, and tofu. So first you're going to just take your firm block of tofu and you're going to crumble it into a large bowl. You can also just put this in a food processor and crumble it that way, but I find it makes less dishes if you just crumble it by hand. To the bowl, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke, and this is what really gives it that kind of smoky flavor. 1/4 of a cup of low sodium tamari or soy sauce. I just put in 4 tablespoons, which is the equivalent, so I'm not dirtying all my dishes. And then using a spatula, you're just going to mix to incorporate. You're going to turn your oven on to 425, and as that's heating up, you're going to let the marinade sit into the tofu. And then you're going to spread it onto your lined baking sheet, making sure to really spread it out evenly so that the tofu crisps up. You're going to put it in the oven and halfway flip it around. Once it's done, it'll come out of the oven and it'll be so crispy. I like to cook mine quite crispy. And then you can use this bacon crumble on so many different dishes. It is so tasty. So now we are going to be making the third recipe, which is mini peanut butter cups in a jar. It's inspired by Oshi Glows. This recipe uses a graham cracker crumb crust, but I made my own with another recipe I found online. So I'm gonna put the description in the description below. And I added the cocoa powder and maple syrup to the crust to give it a real chocolatey flavor. Once you make the graham cracker crust, you put it in little dishes. Now, I didn't have any of the same size or type of dishes, so bear with me. I just scooped about a spoonful or two in each, and then using my fingers or the back of a spatula, you just want to press it down. Once you've done that, you're going to take your dishes and put it in the freezer while you make the middle layer, and the bottom layer will kind of freeze up a little bit or harden. For the middle layer, you are going to add some soft tofu, natural peanut butter, brown sugar, almond milk, a little bit of vanilla extract, and some salt to taste. I'll put all the directions in the description below. And basically you're just going to use the same food processor you used for the crust, and you are going to combine everything together. Once everything's blended, you are going to take your cups out of the freezer and add equal portions to each of the cups. You can use the back of your spoon again to smooth the layers out and make sure that it's combined with the rest of the chocolate layer. The last step is to make some chocolate sauce just with some chocolate chips and coconut oil, and then you're going to add a thin layer to the top of each of the 3 or 4 containers, however many you made. And again, this is using the filling that came straight from the freezer, so the chocolate sauce will harden quite quickly if you put it on a thin layer, but you can stick it in the freezer for a few more minutes just to harden, and then it's ready to eat. Okay, I've got my dessert here. Ooh, and the shell is just perfectly firmed. It's a bit messy, but it's worth it. It's incredible. This is me happy. You have to try this recipe. I really liked it with the crumble that I made. I will post that crust in the description because I did modify it a bit. And the inside layer is just so fantastic. It's so good. Very creamy, very peanut buttery. And then the shell is just nice and thin. It's the perfect dessert. So there you have it, 3 amazing ways to use tofu. We've got our tofu crumbles, our little baked tofu cubes, and the amazing peanut butter chocolate tofu cup. I hope to see you try these recipes. Let me know if you try any of them in the comments below, or which one you're most excited about. I hope you like, subscribe, and comment on this video and share it with your friends. And if there's other videos you want to see from me, please leave a note in the comments. I am growing this channel week by week and coming up with new content, and I'd love to hear what you're interested in and hearing from. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again next week.